Hey guys, welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson, and this is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Yeah, I know.
And tonight we thought of reviewing that TV series called Lucifer. And what shall we say about Lucifer? Well, it started in the year 2016 for a start.
And it's a devilishly good show to watch.
Yes, even though a few people don't think so, sadly enough.
Some people do, some people don't. But anyway, carry on, roll on.
Yes, well, who stars in it? Because we have too many directors to
We have lots
mention.
of good review things to talk about here. But now, I'll go through the names of who they are and briefly what they are. Because I can't talk about lots of other things. We can't tell a story because there's too many episodes. We'll gloss over it a little bit.
Gloss over it.
Anyway.
And we'll mention a couple of our favourite episodes in between.
Oh, we might mention a couple of little favourite tidbits out of it. Yeah. Now, okay, here we go. Tom Ellis plays Lucifer Morningstar.
Yeah, yum.
He also plays another person in the upcoming series. It's his twin brother. So interesting. He plays Lord of Hell, who decided to have a break from hell, and he's living in
Los
LA,
Angeles.
running a club, and he gets dragged into helping the police solve crimes. Really nice guy. Yeah. Okay. Now, Lauren German plays Detective Chloe Decker, the love interest in it. He partners up with her to solve crimes, and the sexual tension rolling between these two. He's attracted to her. He has no power over her. He has power over other people, not her.
See, he has this ability to, influence and
He control people.
Control people.
And he has no effect over her whatsoever.
And
the thing is, he keeps saying, I'm the devil, and she thinks he's lying or he's delusional or something.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, it's quite interesting. Now, here we go. Kevin Alejandro, I think is the right name. For this guy plays Detective Daniel Espinosa, which is...
Or Dan for short.
Or Dan for short, or douchebag or whatever. Plays...
Or Sedouche.
Sedouche. Chloe's ex-husband, who's doesn't like Lucifer.
And likewise.
Yeah, and Lucifer doesn't like him for whatever reason. Yeah. Now... D.B. Woodhouse. Now, he's been in a few movies and shows over the years. He plays one of Lucifer's brothers, Amenadiel, who's been sent to Earth to try bring Lucifer back to his senses and send him back to hell, which didn't work anyway. So he gets stuck here on Earth, and he's stuck here, and Lucifer's trying to help him through his little crisis down here as well in some ways.
Yeah,
so interesting.
Next.
Now, Lesley-Ann Brandt plays Mazikeen, Maze to her friends.
She's pretty.
She's a demon who works very closely with Lucifer Morningstar.
And crushes on dear old Amenadiel.
Yeah.
For a bit.
Yeah.
I mean.
There's a bit of love interest there and stuff, but Maze is a demon, and she's really having troubles understanding human beings a bit. So, however, if all demons look like her, hell would not necessarily be a bad place. However, she's one of the chief torturers, so maybe it's not a pleasant place to go.
Yeah, I suppose not.
Now, there's a little girl called Scarlett Estevez plays Beatrice Espinosa, Trixie to her friends, who plays Chloe and Dan's little girl. She is cute.
Yeah, reminds me a little bit of my niece, nephew.
The funny part is she's getting guidance on how to do things and understand things from Lucifer and Mazikeen from the evil side, from their evil side, and how they'd handle things while paying attention a little bit to what Mum and Dad are saying. So there's some interesting things happening.
Yeah, like there was a scene, I think it was either at the in season 2 where she sneaks into the kitchen and eats some of her chocolate cake that was meant for her birthday, and she said that Lucifer said it was okay because if you want something, eat it,
Just do it. Yes.
Yeah.
Rachel Harris plays a psychiatrist.
Yeah, to deal with Lucifer's feelings.
The funny part is, it starts off, Lucifer goes there, and she thinks
he's
a delusional man. No, he's a delusional man thinking he's Lucifer. And early in the piece, he proves to her that he's
Yes.
Lucifer.
And
And then she realises she's dealing with the devil.
Yeah.
And then then she gets Maze as a bit
friend.
of a friend and also a semi-patient occasionally.
And a
then
rival.
Then she realises the Menadil is also an angel. And later on in the series, Mum comes along there and gets some counselling. She says the psychiatrist to the deities or something or other.
I guess that's the word for it.
So,
And the one thing I like about it, for a bit in season 1, she allowed Lucifer to be her lover.
Well,
of
yeah, well,
sorts.
he used to get free consultations for sex, which is nice.
Yeah, and she was separated from her husband, who's a journalist.
We
I
won't go
understand.
into him.
And well, I won't.
please
I'll tell you later on.
Later on. Now, okay, I'm going through the cast list here at the moment.
Sorry.
We have Trisha Helfer. Now, she plays Mum, Lucifer's mum, goddess, had been sentenced to hell for being naughty. She also plays the role of Charlotte Richards, who is a lawyer. So, yes, she plays 2 roles here. So, and she's quite funny and interesting.
I agree.
Yeah, who else we got here? Oh, one of my favourites. Amy Garcia plays
nice.
Ella Lopez. She's a forensic sort of scientist for the police, and she's really cute and funny.
Yeah, she's adorable.
I love the personality.
She's white and bubbly.
Yeah.
And cool too.
Yeah, I won't go anybody else. Tom Welling. He plays Lieutenant Marcus Pierce, who's actually Cain from the Cain and Abel part of history. He's been walking the earth for an eternity.
Yeah.
And he wants Lucifer to help dispatch him to
Yes.
die.
Yeah,
Interesting.
he appears in the 3rd season, which was going to be about probably the final, if Netflix didn't pick it up for the final few seasons.
Anyway, irrespective, that's pretty much most of the main cast anyway. There's a couple of other ones here and there. I don't remember. Otherwise, we'll just keep going on and on and on.
Yeah, and who knows what's going to happen in season 5? We don't know.
But pretty much the overview is Lucifer has come up from hell, like I said before. But he's been there for about 5 years. He's running a club and everything else, having a wonderful time, and pairs off with Chloe, who's a detective, to solve crimes. So, do you want to take over now?
Yeah, sure. So season 1, it starts off with Lucifer doing his thing at Luxlot, and and he comes on. He meets Chloe during his friends. One of his many people he helps gets killed, and that's where he and Chloe start their investigations together in season 1. And in season 2, we get introduced to Lucifer's mum, a little bit more backstory to his past. Like, he describes it in an interview with Linda. He says, once upon a time, a boy meets a girl, and they fell in love. And they have sex.
And that was Big Bang.
And they, of course, they had a litter of kids, and they had make their home, which they called heaven.
Was it Silver City?
Yes.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and for a while, it was all good, but then then his dad goes off to the garage tinkering with a little project called Humanity.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's quite. Hey, some of the the script that Lucifer uses was very imaginative.
Very.
Trying to humanise God and say, well,
Yeah.
like I said, he went out to the garage and tinkered with little things called
the
humanity
relationship
and stuff.
between
That's really interesting.
And the relationship between Lucifer and God is Lucifer and Medill, and all the other angels is dad.
Yeah, he's dad. And he had all his angels, the sons and daughters or whatever. But Lucifer's supposed to be number 1.
Yeah.
And he's supposedly rebelled.
Yeah.
And,
I think that I'm not sure where it's said, but I think Lucifer was one point God's favorite son.
I think he was.
Maybe.
Up there with Gabriel and Michael and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of thing. So.
But anyway, irrespective. We're not. This is not a spiritual journey here.
Yeah.
It's a TV show.
Again, guys, bear in mind, fiction. Do not believe everything you hear.
Yes, that's true. Actually, we'll get on that a bit later on about the protest and everything.
Yes. And okay, moving on to season 3. And this brings us to the fact that Lucifer ended up with his wings being replaced back on his back.
Oh, yeah. Early in the piece, it came out that Lucifer had his wings, and he got Mazikeen, who got this really sharp knife the demons used to cut them off. He had these 2 scars on his back.
Yeah.
And he had them in a cupboard.
Yes.
In case he wanted to. Well, it's a trophy, I suppose.
Yeah.
Memorabilia. But now later on, they start growing back. Now I don't know if God's doing it or Lucifer's doing it because he's changing, and it's never really totally explained.
Yeah, I would have thought they would have explained it.
Yeah.
So
However, it doesn't matter. It's really funny because those pesky little things they keep popping up the most inopportune time.
Not like a man's. Never mind.
Well, it's like cracking a horn in public, guys. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Who said that?
That's probably a better word for it. So anyway, he helps Kane,
the police guy,
who turns out to be the Cain from Cain and Abel.
Yeah, he's been walking around the earth for an awful long time.
Yeah, and they try to get him back to being dead, or try to get him to dead.
Well, they want to kill him, and they were going to use Mazikeen's knives, was it?
Yeah.
Because they're good for killing anything, spiritual and or whatever. So,
yes, anything that's supernatural related.
Yeah.
So anyway, by the end of season 3, Chloe finally sees that Lucifer wasn't lying about being the devil.
Yes, he showed him his devil face, was it?
Yes.
Yeah. And his devil's face looks really good, really burnt and red and everything.
Red and burnt and very...
Full of horns his head, yeah.
Yeah, well, no horns. I mean, I think that Lucifer said that he doesn't have horns and he doesn't have a tail.
So he just got a really, really red head.
Yes.
And
by season 4, we get introduced to Lucifer's first love called Eve.
Remember Adam and Eve in the old Garden of Eden? You guessed who was in the garden? Supposedly Lucifer.
Yeah.
And
Three's a company, people.
Well, yeah. Lucifer and his snake. No.
So anyway,
but she was a bit of a wild child, and she had a bit of a fling with Lucifer.
Yeah, and we get the skinny that once Lucifer's first love arrives, then all hell breaks loose on Earth.
Yeah, and we find
go figure.
We found it a little bit later on. It wasn't Eve. Eve was just a sexual trophy.
Yes.
But who is the first love? Will be revealed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and eventually, by the end of the series, he goes home to hell.
He has to, because if he stays, it'll hurt the world or something.
Yeah,
I can't remember now.
I think it was all. I often thought when season 4 and when we found out that Chloe finds out about the truth about Lucifer, no doubt that something will stir the world.
Yeah.
Like something has opened up. Like something's just let loose. Like the cat's out of the bag, and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, something like that. The whole cat's out of the bag.
Well, not like going to the police and telling the world that there's a devil amongst us.
Yeah, so who's going to believe anybody saying that sort of thing? Hey,
yeah, true. So anyway, that's pretty much the whole series so far. I'm hoping that in series 5
I will
we'll
say
have
something
good.
here. How do you put it? Wrong in season 5, Lucifer, I believe, stays in hell, but his twin brother comes up. That explains that. That's a good way to keep the series going.
Yeah, I think so. And I think Chloe, I think I see in the trailer, she's a little bit depressed, and I think she misses Lucifer.
He's charming. Like Tom Ellis is a really good actor. Yeah, I think he's great, and he's not a bad singer either.
Yeah, I almost wish. I've been saying this a lot to most of my friends and family. I wish that they could have a soundtrack of Tom singing in Lucifer.
All the songs they use for it. I mean, a lot of TV shows and movies have a soundtrack CD comes out.
Yeah, Buffy, Angel,
Firefly,
any of those shows.
So why can't they do it for this? Because he's not a bad singer. Look, he's not a professional singer so far as that's his job. He's an actor, but why not have a CD come out of some of his singing in some of the other soundtracks?
Yeah.
Because the music's good.
Yeah.
And we'd really like to listen to Tom Ellis singing. And if anyone's listening out there who's actually in the market there who can actually make it happen, come on, have a word to management.
Or at least talk to Tom and ask him or beg him, please make
he would have
a soundtrack.
no control over it. The guys actually, the production company would.
I know.
Because they're the ones actually running it and doing it.
I know, but I don't know why they're not doing this. You think this would be a great way to promote the TV
exactly.
show.
A bit of a promotion thing. Hey, soundtracks makes some money on the side there. I was like, look, you take Heartbeat, the English show. They had so many CDs coming out of all the songs from that period.
Exactly.
The Rock had a soundtrack.
Exactly.
CDs,
I mean,
yeah?
this is filmmaker 101. To make your film work really well, promote, market your
make a
work.
CD, make a Lucifer lunchbox for the kiddies to take to school. Whatever.
Yeah, or a poster, or even some T-shirts lined up.
Or a beer mug with his face on it,
Stuff like that.
Coffee cup, whatever. Yeah, I mean, they could actually make some good merchandising stuff happen out of this. Yeah, CDs,
and I'm
whatever.
probably not the only one who wants this.
Well, I want it.
Me too.
That's two.
Anyway, let's sit down and talk about our favourite episodes in Lucifer, shall we?
Well, no, not so much favourite, but favourite things out of the series.
Yes.
Favourite episodes get a bit long-winded and stuff.
Okay. One of my best favourite episodes in the series was when we meet Linda's her ex-husband, and
that was interesting.
and that one refers back to season 2 and season 1 because it's sort of a bit of a prequel.
Yeah, well, she's been going through a divorce with her husband or
Yeah,
separation
and he
or something.
thinks that there's still a thing between
chance,
them.
Yeah.
But he finds out that Lucifer is screwing
Well,
around.
no,
with her.
he thinks he's got somebody else in her life, and then he finds out later on it's Lucifer. So he's got a bit of vendetta out there to try. Is it to kill him?
Yeah, he tries to.
Try to kill him, yeah.
Yeah, eventually, he finds out who he is. Really,
Yeah,
for real.
really, the devil.
Yes. And he even tries. This is a funny scene in this movie in the TV show where he sees, comes to his apartment and he sees this naked laundry woman lying in the bed, tied, bondage, whatever. And when he tries to save her, and Lucifer comes popping in, she says, "Oh, who is this guy, Lucifer?" and all that stuff, and he doesn't realize that she's into the bondage
They're in
stuff.
the bondage, yeah. It's quite funny, this one, but the funny part in this is this guy is actually reliving this.
Yes.
He's about 12 months.
Yeah,
is it?
I think
a
that
12 months period. That's his hell because he in the end he died and then he wakes up in hospital.
Yeah, because Lucifer describes this as sort of like purgatory, like you're really living the thing you regret to do the most over and over and over
so for
again.
eternity he's going through the same thing, waking up in hospital, saying I'm going to make a change in my life, and then he's changing his life, ends up going down the wrong road, and he ends up dying, and then waking up in hospital and starting all over again. So
sort of like
a
that.
bit like Groundhog Day.
Yeah, it's like those other movies, like or TV shows, like sort of Night Gallery, where there's the story about these cowboys come to the bar, and they they relive their death when at a certain hour or a certain time of day.
The last minutes of their life. Yeah. Mums have been hung for cattle rustling or something or other, and some were shot out in the street. Yeah. But every night they had to go through that death. Yeah, interesting.
Sort of like purgatory, Purgatory is like the reliving your what you've done over and over again.
But hell's like that too, I believe. So anyway, I haven't been there, but I've been told. Yeah. But,
yes. So don't read too much into it.
No, interesting though. It's interesting. Actually, one thing that gets me is Lucifer's got this power. He gets a nice smile and he walks up to somebody.
Hello,
he's trying to get
nicely.
information out of them. Hello, how are you? Like, what's your deepest desire? And they just open up to him and say, oh, look, I really want this, rah, rah. And he gets information out of him so easily. Yeah. And it doesn't happen with Chloe. So he's the only one it doesn't work with.
If that's the word.
And so no matter who it is, you get an axe murderer, somebody, and they say, oh, gee, really? And I say, oh, I'm sad and everything, and everything got out of control, and blah, blah, blah. And you see the soft underbelly there, what's really motivating them to be what they are. Yeah. And they just admit, oh, yeah, I killed that person there because I didn't like them, they're very horrible, nasty. No major interrogation, no good cop, bad cop. It's just, there it is.
Yeah, right there. I like that one bit where he when he was at Trixie's school and he meets her for the first time because he doesn't like children very much.
Well, there's no children in hell, you see. He doesn't know what to do with them.
Yes. So anyway, he kind of helps her with a bully, and he approaches the bully and he says, Hello, mean girl. Do you know there's a special place in hell for bullies? Have fun.
And his eyes go all red.
Yes, and scared the poor bully
She
girl.
must have weed herself in the chair, you know.
Probably.
But,
And admitted that she did do something naughty to Trixie.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, he did that same sort of thing until the criminals, he was accosting. He'd show them that his devil face, which is like a totally red face, like fire engine red almost.
Yeah,
No facial hair, no hair in his head, no nothing. It's just like you're being too close to the barbecue, you know. And
Yeah, I remember when he approached a man on the street who's saying repent for the end is coming, all that stuff, and Lucifer gave him a bit of a scare, and it was really funny, especially what he did. It was kind of memorable.
Yeah, well, we can't say too much. We wanted to make it interesting for you guys to watch.
But I do like the most when he's in Lux, he's singing and playing the piano. I know I found out much later on that he does not really play the piano.
Yeah, he sits at the piano and it looks like he's playing it, but when you see him singing, you don't see him playing it. You see his hands down there on the keyboard. So
but
yeah.
I heard in year 2000 there was a video of him accompanying himself on a piano while singing, showing at the moment has learned to play the piano.
Play the piano. Well, there you go.
So he's kind
Good
of
one, Mr. Ellis.
yeah. I hope he's good at it and everything. We don't want to have a fake,
whoever does play the piano in the TV series is a really good player.
Yeah.
Really good.
And I do like Lucifer's voice, as I said before. I wish they did have an album for all his singing arrangements in this.
Well, and the other soundtracks. They got some good music in it.
Yeah.
The producers really showed some really.
Because Lucifer, he plays a lot of he sings a lot of old songs, like old Cinnamon and stuff like that.
Rearranged, and up-tempoed and stuff. But they're really good.
Yeah, and some of them, and they are really good to listen to. I mean, I imagine that.
Hey Tom, we need a CD.
Yeah.
You listening? Mm.
Well, who knows? Maybe if they can listen to us and say put Song of the South out there on internationally now, then I'm sure that he'll listen to our podcast.
No, actually, just digressing. We did do a podcast on Song of the South, which is an old Disney partial animation movie. It had Afro-Americans in it and whatever, and people were trying to ban it because it showed, well, some people believed it didn't show Afro-Americans in a positive light or the correct light. It's a fantasy movie.
Yes.
And we understand now that not maybe because of our podcast or maybe other people as well, I don't know, but it looks like the ban's not going to be in place. But it might have.
I think they're not going to show.
It's going worldwide, but maybe not in America.
Yeah, America's not going to sell it, so maybe Canada or Europe might sell it.
Canada might, and Europe, and there's maybe Australia and whatever in England,
so
but
crossed,
maybe
guys.
USA may not be because there's probably a lobby there who still think it might be a little bit discriminatory, but if you have a really good look at it, it's not discriminatory.
Yeah.
But we won't go into it. Let's move on.
Okay. Just so you guys know, you probably have heard a couple of times that Lucifer has nearly came close to being cancelled a couple of times.
For one reason or another. Actually, it started off reasonably interesting, but not over the top, and they weren't sure how it was going to go. But I think it picked up in the second and third season. But it still wasn't going great gangbusters.
Yeah.
And they thought, well, was Netflix running it first?
Yeah, no, Fox did it for a bit,
yeah.
and then Netflix
took
picks
over.
it up.
So and Netflix took it over and did the fourth series and probably the fifth series.
Yeah, according to
social
social media, in year 2018, the hashtag has that they kind of released back in the year 2000 Save Lucifer now, and has more than 8 million tweets and counting so far.
Yeah. It's a good, fun show.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not real, and that takes me on
not to mention, this came from a comic book.
Yeah, DC
yes,
comic.
Yes, a comic book.
The DC comic, I think, it's the Sandman or something.
Yeah, the Cinnamon.
Yeah. No, Sandman, not Cinnamon.
Oh, yeah, Sandman.
Yeah, Sandman. And he wasn't the main part in it, I don't think, but he was part of it. and it was a comic, and they tried to ban the comic because they had, I think, gays and lesbians and cross dressers and everything else, and that sort of stuff. And a lobby back in those days tried to have that banned. And then recently, during the making of this series, another lobby tried to close it down.
Good grief.
For the same sort of reason. It was glorifying Satan. It's not glorifying Satan. Okay? It's a hypothetical fantasy type movie. It ain't real.
It does make you think about it, though.
But it does make you think, well, could he be like this or not? It's just a funny movie. It's a funny TV show. That's all it is.
And this is an interesting point. I found out that Tom, the guy who plays Lucifer, his father is a minister. So if his father doesn't,
Baptist minister or something.
If his father doesn't judge his son for playing a role like that, then he may be feeling cool about.
So
him
why is all his other do-gooders say, "It's bad, that's naughty"? No. Get a lot. I mean, I'm going to go off on a bit of a tangent here. They're worried about this show. They're making the devil look like he's a nice guy. Why don't they say these self-serving do-gooders go and complain about all the sex, drugs, violence in all the movies doing today? And it's all gratuitous stuff, and there's hardly any storyline. Why don't they say that's a really bad movie because all these people getting killed and slashed up, slasher movies, and leave a good fun TV show alone?
Yeah, I mean, this has it focuses more on crime than less on
the
the
bit of
Lucifer.
humour wrapped around it.
And a little bit of humour and
I mean,
a little bit of supernatural stuff.
Yeah, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of other crap going out there in the media they can jump on the bandwagon for. Leave good fun stuff alone. Yeah, people know this is fantasy. It's fiction.
Yeah, it's not going to hurt people.
We don't need a nanny state for everything. Honestly, folks, please. Leave good humour alone. It is good humour. No one takes it seriously. No one thinks Satan has a club in LA. Hello.
Yeah.
No one really believes it.
Yes, right, true. So, there's nothing wrong with this TV show, and
it's great,
and it does grow
it's
an
funny.
audience.
It's witty. Look, Tom Ellis plays a good role. He's got a look about him when he smiles and stuff, and he's a good guy, but he's got a touch of evil about him. So he suits the role right down to a T. And everybody else around him plays a really, really, really good, believable role. And they everyone bounces off everybody really good in this series.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Even Trixie, the little kid, works in really, really well. She's not a precocious little brat saying that, we need this ubiquitous child here to make it interesting. No, she's cute and she's funny and she's got her own personality, which is developed quite nicely for the show.
Yeah, I remember not too long ago that when they brought out a twisted version of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which you guys are probably aware of.
That's what they were telling. I don't know about that one.
It's called the let me see, I can't remember the name, but I know some of you guys probably are aware of what I'm talking about.
I'm not.
Called the
maybe some of the other people out there aren't either.
could be the Creepy Adventures of Sabrina.
Okay.
And it's based off a creepier version of Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
A bit like an adults only sort of thing, is it? Or
something
a bit more violence and stuff?
No, just something darker.
Just darker, okay.
Yeah.
Must have look at that.
Yeah. Anyway,
something different.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a bit darker, and at one point I read somewhere that that they used a lot of devil symbol stuff in it.
Oh yeah,
and
made it interesting.
A devil cult questioned them using their Satan stuff in it.
Well, the point is that if this Satanist group is actually doing their own stuff, they didn't make the signals. They borrowed them from an old text, So everybody wants to get the thing copyright. No. Get a life. Get a life. Come on.
I'm amazed that I'm not sure if maybe the Christian group, the same group, has tried to make a ban on the Creepy Adventures of Sabrina too.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
But it depends. The people taking this because it's glorifying Satan or Lucifer or whatever. But
but this is no different than Supernatural.
Some people try to ban the Harry Potter books.
Yeah.
Because it's
glorifies witchcraft.
Witchcraft. But there was no naughty stuff. It was still good against evil. All the people were learning white magic and the good guys were battling the bad witches, warlocks, whatever. Yeah. So and they tried to ban that. I mean, they made some J.K. Rowling made some really good books, wrote them, and they made some good movies out of them, and very entertaining. I mean, just draw the line. Look, hey, Frankenstein. Whoa, that's really bad. Hello, how many Frankenstein movies have been made? How many Dracula movies have been made? They're all really nasty and horrible, aren't they, folks? Not really. I mean, what's Dracula? A dead person running around, he's a spirit, and biting people on the neck and turning them into other dead people who keep coming back from the grave. That's worse. But we still enjoy it.
True.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yes.
People just because they can. Actually, it's really funny, and I know why they do it now.
Why?
Especially on social media, they can be anonymous.
Oh.
I can complain about this, and I won't use my real name, and no one's going to know it's me. So no. Why don't you stand up in a soapbox or go to somewhere, confront them, have your face and your name and address publicly known that I am complaining about this, and this is me, instead of being I'm the
faceless drone.
I'm the faceless person out here who's having a grumble. If it's really worth a good grumble and you're really sincere, make your name and face known so people know who you are, and they might take you more seriously.
Yeah.
So we don't like trolls doing this sort of stuff. We don't like people having a moan for the sake of having a moan either. So
I mean, it's a bit weird. I mean, I know how we had horror for many years, and we had
horror's good.
We had Halloween, Friday the 13th, and they did the odd Satan cult that made Michael the way he was.
Yeah. But you're talking now. Since they started making movies, even in the silent days, some of the most important, enjoyable movies were horror movies.
Yeah.
Nosferatu, the original silent version. The Cabinet Dr. Caligari. Those are the movies. These were sinister, nasty horror movies. And these were the ones that people wanted to have these chills. They want their jump scares. Even 100 years ago, they wanted them.
And so, as we said before, Lucifer is just a comedy with a little bit of a detective story for it.
It's fun. Yeah, it's nothing. They're not glorifying it. It's just humorous.
I remember another movie they or based off a book, I should say, because the movie was had gory pictures in it and stuff, and yet I don't know what's his name. Who did The Shape in the Water again? The director?
Oh, it wasn't Cameron, was it?
What?
I can't remember. Yeah.
Well, it was the director from The Shape in the Water.
The Shape of the Water, which is not a good movie.
Yeah, he made a recent teen horror movie, I should say, where it dealt with a lot of creepy supernatural creatures and stuff like that.
Have we seen it?
Not yet, but I think it's worth watching.
Well, tell me about it. I'll have a look at it. Yeah,
yes. Okay. And it's pretty worth you guys checking out.
Yeah.
Anyway, according to the books, they kind of got banned like a couple of times because they thought the pictures were too glorifying.
Too graphic, is it?
Too graphic and too gory.
Well, that's it. I mean, that's another point in some movies. Sometimes movies do get overboard. I mean, back in the olden days, they used to have a censorship board. And they'll say, oh, it's the graphic horror, too much sex, and say either cut stuff out or just ban the movie altogether.
Guys,
and now there isn't. Use your own discretion. If you don't like it, turn it off.
Yeah.
Don't try to have it banned. Hello.
Yeah. Did you guys know that when you guys may question movies why they cut the gore, it's probably it's the censor guys who are trying to cut the gore away. Well, it's not the director's fault.
No, actually, just getting back to the old things like the original Frankenstein movie of Boris Karloff. The television version that I grew up with had a few minutes of film footage taken out of it. I have now a full copy of it, and one of the main things I took out was Boris Karloff, the monster, picked up this little girl and threw her into the water in a lake. That was it. Mm-hmm. It wasn't gory. It wasn't horrible. Oh, it's inappropriate. Yeah.
It plays an important part
It
of the
was because
story.
one minute he's on the shore playing with the little girl, and a few minutes later her father's carrying the limp body of the girl through the town, saying she's been killed.
Yeah, what's that
But
tell
it
you?
was an accident. But we didn't see how it happened, so it took away from the story. So don't take stuff out of the movie, but if people don't want to watch a movie, they walk out of the theatre, turn the TV off, change the station, throw the DVD out the window. Don't care. Just don't try to ban stuff that people are enjoying.
Yeah. So that's our opinions, guys. I know that we keep repeating this sort of stuff over and over, but we're trying to make a point here.
Yeah, it is, because, I mean, the people have worked hard to make a movie. The producers, directors, the actors, everybody else, the crew. Everyone's made a good attempt at making a good movie for the entertainment of people, and some guys go along there and say, we don't like it, we want it trashed, and we don't want to stop it. And,
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Grow up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, as we're saying, so my other favorite episode in this was when we see a guy claiming to be God, and we think that it's
That's the guy who's...
in a mental institute.
Oh, yeah. There's a trick there, because he was possibly filtering God, because he had this, was it a belt buckle or something?
Belt buckle.
Which was actually not a belt buckle, it was a spiritual sort of medallion, which was...
Part of an ancient sword that Lucifer wielded when he was rebelling against God.
Yeah, and that had some sort of link, so this guy was picking up on God, supposedly. And he was talking to Lucifer, and he knew things about him. And he was actually talking to him like a father would talk to a son. That sort of stuff. Interesting concept.
But we found out later on something interesting, but I won't tell it to you guys. It's too interesting.
No, you have to watch the series if you haven't been watching it. Yeah. Actually, can you get this on Amazon or anything? Or?
Yes, you can get it on DVD. I hadn't seen it at JB Hi-Fi too.
Right. So the series is there. So if we can get it here in Australia, I'm sure we can purchase it all over the world, especially in America.
Yes. So anyway, let me see. There's another episode I liked. I think it was one where Masaki does a bit of fighting. Like,
I tell you what, that what's the name? Oh, I can't remember. I haven't got a name in front of me, but she is. I don't know if she's been trained in martial arts or anything else, but she's really fit and she moves really well. She makes the fight scenes look really good. Yeah,
yeah, and I think I remember one other scene where Lucifer is under investigation because one of his lovers was murdered, and they wanted to find out if it was another ex-lover that might have killed her. So they winded up all of Lucifer's lovers, men, women, children, or
No,
no
children.
children, men, women, and all that stuff.
He didn't do that
And
sort of
each
stuff.
one gets interrogated, and each one gives off sexual details of their relationship.
Yeah,
And
and
it's-
everyone's really happy about him.
Yeah, they all say, "Ooh, he did this thing,"
nice.
all that stuff.
Really good, really
Oh.
nice. Yeah.
And each one of them sounds too identical to the other, or not really too identical, just goes off.
He's very satisfying. How's
Yes.
that?
And it's-
he aims to please, folks.
It's quite right. So anyway,
Actually, that's one thing about it. You don't see any sex in this. You see somebody on a bed. You don't need to have sex.
Yeah.
You don't need to have gratuitous
Yeah.
violence. But it's a good fun storyline.
yeah, and I do like the
Yeah.
scenes where he's with his psychiatrist lady, and she tries
Yeah.
to turn the conversation to what it's,
Well, yes,
to-
he's, as a real psychologist would.
Yes, but-
and he just turns it right around and misinterprets. Walks. Oh, thank you, and he walks out the door, and she go.
wait, I've got.
That's not quite right. No, until he comes in next time and say things didn't go well.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he begins to, or he sometimes argues with her suggestions, like when he tries to control his emotions. She says you can't control your emotions; it's part of being
human.
And he eventually learns to realize that he can't control his emotions, and the only way he can use the sword thing was to channel his pain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Because he probably doesn't remember when he was feeling during the rebellion in heaven. He probably
Well, it was
felt
a while ago.
he probably
Yeah.
thought he was angry, and he was probably hurt of God's neglect and
Yeah, well,
sadness.
supposedly, yeah.
and a mixture of feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's hard to explain what a rebellion is
Well, yeah.
causes.
Whatever.
So
But
anyway,
it's about a big war. But anyway,
yeah. So
don't dwell on the spiritual side of stuff here. There's people out here who may not want to listen to that
true,
part.
true,
Yeah,
true.
Yeah.
So anyway, in another one where I liked it when he does admit to Chloe he does like her, or he says he on the beach. There is like a few beach, one or two or three episodes where there's in one scene he's at a beach where he says in one scene that he first arrived at a beach, and that was where he started his
His new identity.
his new identity. You may not know this, but Morningstar is probably one of many of Lucifer's real names.
Yeah, Lucifer Morningstar.
Yeah. I don't know why Morningstar, because it sounds less threatening when I hear it.
He was an angel of light
True.
before it became the let's say the jailer of hell. Yeah, whatever.
True. He has so many names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, anyway, as I was saying, he even mentions to Chloe how he feels like he's unworthy of her because he's screwed up. He doesn't know where he's going, and
Just like all lost males.
yes, and eventually Chloe starts developing feelings for him, real feelings.
Yeah.
And I think I remember in a dream sequence she dreamt
Dream sequence.
yeah, she and him were making out, and while making out, she sees that he has some horns on his head.
Yeah, love handles.
Yes. Oh, there's those are his words, not mine. Anyway, she eventually wakes up and sees Mazuki not too far from her bed, eating popcorn and saying she's watching the show.
Yeah, Mazikeen.
Oh yeah,
what's the lady's name? Oh, crikey. I keep forgetting. The lady plays Mazikeen. Something Bryant. Lesley-Ann Bryant. Brandt.
Yeah.
Brandt. She's a joy. The personality she puts out. I mean, someone give the lines, but the lines she seems to own the personality of the lines. She is so good to watch.
Yeah,
and
she's really
very dry humour. She's really good.
Yeah, I like the fact that she's wild and cool.
Oh yeah, actually, she's a demon. Obviously, when she comes here, but later on, she gets a little bit disenchanted of what's happening working in the club and stuff. So she decides to become a bounty hunter.
Yeah, she
always gets her man.
Yeah, or woman.
Or woman. Yeah. So and she's good at it.
Yeah, she is really good at it, and it's great that she develops a friendship with Chloe and with psychiatrist lady. For a while,
and Trixie, little girl.
Yeah, Trixie, because she hangs out at Chloe's sort of mother's house. I think it was owned by her mother.
Yeah, I think Chloe's renting it from mum or something.
Because her mother,
whatever.
after the Chloe was divorced from her husband, so I guess mum allowed her to stay there.
And mum hasn't been living there. Mum's been tripping the world or doing something.
Yeah, her mother is an actress, so you understand.
Yeah.
And her father, who passed away.
He was a policeman who passed away.
Who got killed in the
line of duty.
In the line of duty or whatever.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Oh,
and that's what and at the time she was in a sort of a cheesy TV movie called Hot Tub High School.
That's when she was younger as a teenager.
When she was younger.
Yeah. Hot Tub
High School.
Yeah.
It reminds me of one of those 80s or 90s.
Yeah, it's probably not a real show, but it sounds really good.
Yeah, but it makes me think of those weird 90s or 80s cheap movies that you see.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll sort of things.
It sounds like that.
Sounds good. And I must admit, she looks pretty good, so she would have been good in the hot tub. Anyway.
Yes. And no one ever makes her forget it.
Yeah, I think Lucifer said it in the first episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, he says, yeah, I recognize you, and especially when you're nude, and he says, yeah, I understand, you saw my boobs, it's exciting,
yada.
What are you, 12, she says?
Yeah, well, Yeah. But she's a beautiful lady anyway. She's I can see why the Lucifer character is attracted to her. She's beautiful,
Yeah.
but she's not one of those sleazy. No, I wouldn't say that people he hangs around are sleazy, but the more worldly type females he hangs out with. She's not like that. She's like almost like a Sunday school teacher almost, who's who happens to be a policeman.
Yeah, I like it when
She's
they
just-
were.
yeah.
I like it in one other scene where she's preparing those grilled cheese sandwich things, whatever, and Lucifer's there, and he grabs it off the tray and says, "Why that Trixie should not have it? He should have it because he's more bigger and hungrier." And he,
So it works for me, guys.
yeah, and it's amusing, and I liked it that he, in the scene, he tells her that he doesn't have much affection for his dad, but he notices that Chloe does, and he
Carrie loves her
Yeah,
daddy,
and-
Dan, douchebag.
and Chloe felt very touched by the scene, and she gives Lucifer a hug, and Lucifer comforts her when she's a little bit sad.
Yes,
and cry.
it's an interesting relationship they've got. Yeah, like
Yeah.
they're besties, and I think they both want more, but they feel awkward about it.
Yeah, I liked it when
yeah.
in season 1, I think, when Chloe was at his house and at his apartment, I should say. She came there and they were she was drunk and stuff like that, and Lucifer kind of kindly says no.
Yeah, see, he wasn't going to take advantage of it because he
Yeah.
would have somebody else, but not her. Actually, that's
Yes.
something interesting too. We didn't mention. Lucifer is immortal,
Yes.
and you can shoot him. You can try stab him. Nothing will happen. However, if he gets close to Chloe, within say 100 meters, 100
Or 1
yards,
meter.
whatever. No, in the same room, same building, he's vulnerable. So if they're chasing criminals and they're shooting bullets around the place or throwing knives and stuff, and she's there, he can be hurt.
Yes.
Yeah, interesting.
There were a few attempts of when they came to such blows, and he at one point she shot him in the shoulder, and he bled, and he was a bit surprised when this happened.
shouldn't have
He
happened.
thought he would be immune and stuff like that, and even Twixie says to her that just because she shot her Lucifer, that she must really like him. You know, a bit of a
love-hate sort of thing.
love fate kind of way. Anyway, it's
Did he keep the bulls as a memento on a chain or something?
and he gave it to Chloe for a birthday present.
Yeah, that's the bullet you're shopping with. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Really,
because
really great
I think he
present.
said it in a most romantic way that she's the only one that penetrated his heart.
Aww.
Oh, that's so
Isn't
nice.
it cute?
Even though he shot him in the arm or
Well, it's close enough.
yes, and
If you got him in the heart, he might have actually died.
that's
He would have
true.
gone straight back to hell, wouldn't he? Short series.
Yeah, so I do like that most of those moments where starts developing feelings, and he tests his immunity system, trying to figure out whether or not he's can be killed by any means, I guess.
Yes, he does try a few things. At one stage, he's trying to kill himself, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And nothing happened. And Cain did the same thing, didn't he?
Yeah.
Cain tried to kill himself a few times, and nothing happens.
Yeah.
It's just that when you're an immortal, it's really hard. It's like Dracula. You know the one we did that one,
Yeah, the Dracula one.
the Symphony of Terror one with
Yeah.
Malkovich in it.
Yeah.
Now that one there, someone's talking to Dracula, or the Count, whatever his name is, I can't remember his name, Orlok, and he says, "Well, why don't you kill yourself?" "I don't know how to kill myself."
Oh, you mean the shadow of the vampire?
Shadow of the Vampire. Yeah. And he said, "I don't know how to kill myself. I've tried."
Yeah.
But yeah, once you're an immortal, you're an immortal. You can't die. And and he made a comment. He made that comment, didn't he? So I don't know how to. I've tried to kill myself. I'm sick of being alone, and he can't do anything about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting concept. He wants to live for next million years or 2 million years and see the world change and people come and go and die, and the Bible says 70 years and 10 or something, which is something like something like 70 years old or something, which is average, which is great. 70, 100's nice, but the point is, he want to live for 3 or 4 or 500 years or. No, not me. No. I'd run out of superannuation money. What? What am I supposed to eat? Grass?
Shut up, you. So anyway, I do like the fact that that Lucifer gets close to Chloe, and at times he even tries to help her along, even though other times he tries to make the case all about him.
Oh yeah, sometimes. It's actually sometimes it gets up close personal for him because didn't someone steal something that belonged to him?
Yeah,
Or
his wings.
Yeah.
And of course, he couldn't confide to Chloe about what he was stolen till after during the second or third episode. He then had to confide to her that someone had stole his wings, which
She still didn't believe him.
yeah, and he finds out that those wings were stolen again when they were going to be auctioned, meaning it was divine. It was something beyond divine, meaning something that you can't really handle.
Yeah.
Anything in this TV show that deals with the divine or something powerful, the people can't really handle it.
Yeah,
Like
we don't have the
like the sword I mentioned,
skill,
like the sword in I told you about. It couldn't be handled by human beings, so eventually Lucifer had to hide it away to avoid any other problems with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
So should we rate this now?
I think okay. Out of 10, I give it drum roll. 10.
I give it a 10 too.
And that's because it's fun, it works, it's interesting, and it hasn't dried up its inspiration yet. Everything that's been coming out in every episode, I don't care what some of the critics have said, it's still fresh, and it's interesting, and it's newish. It's a cop show, whoopee, but got Lucifer in it, and they've got a lot of humour.
And
in
I
it.
like the idea of a supernatural with you know as a detective TV
Yeah,
series.
and it works. It really works. For those of you who haven't seen it, I suggest you get a copy of it. Your local video hire place
whatever.
might have them there. If not, look, like I said, they're not that expensive. Pick them up, have a good look. You can start from season 1. It's great. It's fun.
I highly recommend you guys start at the beginning and then you work way through.
Because it does have a bit of a continuing sort of storyline going through it. You can jump into it and see an individual one, but if you see the beginning of it, it starts to make a little bit more sense. So,
why Chloe doesn't realize that Lucifer wasn't lying about the fact that he is what he is.
Yeah, the nut houses, the asylums, if you will, are full of people who say, "I'm Napoleon," or "I'm God," or "I'm Jesus," all right, whatever.
I'm up myself.
Yeah, no, they're all delusional, and Caesar thinks he's one of those, but he's not.
Yeah, I mean, even when push comes to shove or whatever, she even sticks by him even as a friend.
Yeah, exactly right.
Even when she thinks he's bonkers about being the devil.
Yeah, okay. Whatever, yeah.
Well, I just remember there was a scene a courtroom scene where they had to talk about some real stuff that Chloe admits that Lucifer is a good guy and he's a good friend and a good partner.
He is. Yeah, that's what he is. And that's what it's trying to show that...
She even tries to show her support when his club, Lux gets taken away from him and they're going to shut it down to make way for another thing, that she shows her support by helping him in...
That's right, yeah.
Helping him during the a sitting in whatever they call it.
A sitting, yeah.
Yeah, where all the clubbers are there and they're trying to have one big massive blowout, and she was able to be there to dance with the night wave for a bit, and she was able to help buy back Lux for Lucifer.
Yeah.
Well, not really help buy back.
No,
I mean, she was able to make sure that Lux remains a bit of a special.
It's it's an interesting club. It's not the place I'd go to, but it's an interesting club.
I think it's kind of cool.
I used to go to nightclubs when I was younger and stuff, but they play disco music all the time. I don't like disco. I like blues and rock and stuff.
Well, I do like the fact that there's a piano, two pianos, I should say. One is in his apartment, and the one in Lux
Yeah, in
itself.
itself. Yeah,
And I like the fact
he occasionally entertains the people.
yeah, and he tends to play a bit of piano when to calm things down.
Yeah.
Gotta admit, I like that in a club. Have a real piano, not
piano.
what do they call it? A baby grand.
Yes, is the baby grand got that?
I'm not sure. I don't know if it's a
It's one of a
baby.
flat top, if it's got a flat top on it, like you lay on.
Yeah.
It's a baby grand, yeah.
Yeah, one.
Yeah. But if it's an upright one, it's not.
An upright one, I guess that could
Yeah,
be
it's
it.
upright,
And
yeah.
I do think it's a very pretty piano
But still,
to
it's
have.
hey, pianos are a wonderful instrument. If I wish I'd learnt to play. I play guitar, and I can't read dots.
Yeah,
but
I remember there was
I
a
love to
scene
learn
when
piano,
I liked it when he was playing "Knock Knock on Heaven's Doors," and Chloe comes in and they start playing. I don't know what song it was, but it was amusing watching them play a duet there
Yeah,
in that
lovely.
scene.
Anyway.
It was clever.
We might wrap this one up, shall we?
Yes, we will.
Guys, this is really good.
I highly recommend it.
Those of you who haven't watched it, watch it. It's a good watch. Like it's again, don't take it seriously. It's tongue in cheek. It's you got the quips that come out, the quick one-liners.
Yeah.
That's what makes it a good show and a good watch.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
There's some really good one-liners that you might definitely like to
Yeah.
print on a T-shirt.
And don't take any of it seriously.
Yeah,
okay?
do not go on the bandwagon and say Lucifer must be destroyed, all that stuff.
No, because it's just a fun movie. Yeah, it's not like there's a movie we saw years ago. It's made years ago called Death Takes a Holiday. Remember that one?
Yes, I vaguely do.
And that's death takes a holiday. He said, I'm not going to collect souls. Anyone who dies or should be dying during this period won't die. So you can jump off a tall building, hit the ground, get up and walk away, that sort of stuff. So, but he's death. What's the difference?
Yeah,
Yeah,
one day
it's a good movie.
I'll see about doing that one next time.
What, the original or remake?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because I think the original black and white one's better.
Yeah.
The remake's not bad, but when they contemporise the movie, sometimes they lose the feeling of it.
True,
Yeah,
true. So anyway, thanks for listening to this latest podcast. We'll talk to you guys again soon, very soon.
Oh, very. Oh,
Yes.
tomorrow. No.
So this is Sarah Stephenson
And Michael Stephenson.
wishing you unpleasant dreams. See you around, guys.